Ghost in the Shell, 2017. In the future, humans have become enhanced with cybernetic upgrades. Hanka Robotics is the top company in this type of technology, and it is on the verge of developing a new kind of cyborg that uses a human brain to function. A woman, Mira Killian, Scarlett Johansson, is being taken into Hanka after an accident. Her brain is put into a cybernetic body with greater strength and agility. Once the process is complete, her designer, Dr. Ouellet, Juliette Binoche, talks to Hanka's CEO Cutter, Peter Ferdinando. Cutter wants to put Mira in Section 9, an anti-terrorism squad, but Ouellet feels she is not ready for something like that. 1 year later, Mira is now known as the Major. She is on the roof of a building listening in on a meeting between Hanka representative Dr. Osmond and an African ambassador, Chris Obi. The Major receives her orders from Section 9 Chief Daisuke Aramaki, Takeshi Kitano, and works alongside Batu, Pilu Absik, and Ladria, Danuja Samal. In the conference, several geisha bots start to attack the people in the room, leading the Major to spring into action against Aramaki's orders. She goes invisible and jumps off the roof before swinging into the room, and she starts shooting the geisha bots. One of the geisha bots hacks into Dr. Osmond's neck and kills him before the Major gets to it. The geisha bot says commit to the will of Hanka and be destroyed. The Major shoots it. The Section 9 team meets with Aramaki to discuss the attack. They learn that the geisha bots were hacked from a mysterious source, also uttering the same phrase that the geisha bot said to the Major. The rest of the team leaves, but Aramaki talks to the Major about her move by jumping into the room. Aramaki tells her that she still has her ghost, her soul, within her shell, her cyborg body. The Major meets with Dr. Ouellet frequently to fix her body when it's been damaged. The Major has trouble remembering her past, only seeing brief glimpses and flashes. Ouellet dismisses her hallucinations as glitches, but she is shown to care for the Major. The Major and Batu are driving around the city. She mentions what little memory she has of her past, which involves her family dying getting to the country. On the road, the Major sees a hallucination of a burning hut. The Major and Batu meet with Dr. Dahlin, Anna Maria Marinka, with the geisha bot body. The Major deep dives into the geisha bot's AI to try and get more answers on the hacker. The Major finds herself walking through a club with distorted images. She is grabbed by the entity, forcing Batu to pull her out of the connection. The Major says she knows where to find the hacker. The two go to a Yakuza nightclub with Ladria. The Major is pulled into a room by two men who force her to dance, while she is handcuffed to a pole and is zapped by a cattle prod. The room also blocks a signal for her to communicate with Batu. The Major then starts fighting the men in the room, kicking one out of the room and leading to a shootout that Batu engages in. He and the Major kill a number of goons before they head off to find the hacker. They run toward a room that is really a trap. A bomb goes off that damages the Major's body and blinds Batu. Batu receives cybernetic eyes to replace his damaged ones while the Major's body is repaired. Meanwhile, Cutter meets with Aramaki with anger over the Major doing the deep dive. Aramaki warns Cutter who he's threatening since Aramaki answers to the Prime Minister and not Hanka. The hacker, Michael Pitt, finds Drive Dahlin and rips her eyes out before killing her. The Section 9 team finds her body, and the Major pulls a drive out of Dahlin's hand which contains names of other Hanka associates, including Ouellet. They figure she is the hacker's next target. The hacker controls two sanitation workers to ram their truck into Ouellet's car. She survives but the men step outside and try to shoot her. The Major and her partners arrive in time to shoot back at the men. She chases after one man, Lee, as he runs by a body of water. The Major fights him, while invisible until Batu shows up and stops her. Lee is interrogated after the hacker's connection is severed. He tells Section 9 that he was on his way to pick up his daughter. The Major shows him a photo of what he sees as his daughter, but is really a picture of himself. They determine that the hacker placed fake memories in Lee's head. The hacker, whose name is learned to be Kuz, then speaks through Lee to threaten Section 9 before making Lee jump to hang himself with the cable around his neck. Section 9 member Tagusa, Chin Han, traces the hacker's signal to a hidden location. The Major finds Kuz as he is connected to a network with other humanoid cyborg bodies. Kuz reveals that he was a test subject of Hanka's, but considered a failure and a freak due to his deformed outcome. The Major sees a tattoo on his chest of the burning hut like in her hallucination. Kuz says that Hanka took control over their lives instead of saving them. The Major confronts Ouellet over the revelation. Ouellet says that there were 98 failed experiments before the Major became the first successful one. The Major appears angry even as Ouellet tries to defend her position. Cutter orders Ulit to terminate the Major due to her being a liability. As the Major undergoes the process, Ulit instead gives her an address so she can find answers for herself. Ulit lets the Major escape, so Cutter shoots and kills Ulit in retaliation. Cutter reports to Aramaki that the Major killed Ulit and that she must be terminated. The Major follows the address to what turns out to be her old home. Her mother, Kaori Momoi, is there, having believed that her daughter ran away and was killed. The Major's real name was Motoko Kusanagi. Her mother does sense a familiar look in the Major's eyes when she looks at her. As she leaves, the Major gets in contact with Aramaki, who informs her that Ulit is dead and that Cutter says she killed her, though they both know the truth. They let Cutter listen in on their conversation as they plan their next move. Cutter sends his men to kill Section 9 members, but Batu, Tagusa, and Aramaki all survive and kill their attackers. The Major meets with Kuz at a hideout, which resembles the burning hut. They learn that Kuz's real name was Idio, and they were originally against augmentations with humans and cyborgs. Cutter sends a spider tank to kill the Major and Kuz. The spider tank hits Kuz and damages him severely. The Major leaps onto the back of the spider tank and tries to rip its back open. She uses all her strength, causing her arm to rip off as she destroys the spider tank. One of Cutter's snipers rides in on a chopper and kills Kuz. Aramaki sends his own man, Sato, Yutaka Izumahara, to take down the sniper to save the Major. Batu recovers the Major, who is still alive. Aramaki then corners Cutter after having spoken to the Prime Minister. Aramaki contacts the Major and gets her consent to execute Cutter. He shoots Cutter 3 times as he falls into his own pool. The Major visits her own grave with her mother, who now knows her daughter is still with her. The Major's voiceover states that she knows there will be more like her, but she knows her enhancements do not define her. She then leaps off a building to her next mission,